A boring prince character with morals? You can miss me with that. It's Sunny. I'm going to be tier ranking every single hyped TikTok book that I've read, but it's all fun and games until I go to make this tier list and I figure out that I've read more than 45. I literally just went on Barnes & Noble's website. They have like a section that just lists all these like popular TikTok books, so I literally just scrolled through there. So here we are. Here she is. I'll explain my tiers. The top tier is superior tier. These are like literally so subjective. They're just so superior. I don't care what anybody else says. A close second is Palm Sweaty Mom Spaghetti I Love. This tier is for like books that are literally, they're genuinely, I think that they're actually really good, and like Book Talk may have done something. And then the next tier here we have Low-Key Le Trash, but still good. These are books that I thought were good. Low-key they're a little bit trash. Low-key they're a little bit Book Talk trash, but like that's kind of like what makes it good, you know? And then the next tier is It's literally I don't have strong feelings about it. I don't know. It was like, okay, I'm very like so aggressively neutral and indifferent towards it. I had to create this new tier, Blast from the Past. For some reason, Book Talk, like 2021 Book Talk is hyping books that were like the it books of like 2010. You know what I mean? So I literally don't know where to put those books because I read them ages ago. It's been bare time since I've read those books and I literally don't remember. I can't give like an actual ranking towards that. I literally don't remember how good they were. So it's a blast from the past. And then this last tier is That's Suspicious.
That's weird.
Because these are books where literally I'm like, why are these so hyped on TikTok? I literally don't know. I think that there's something else going on that's making these books hyped. Otherwise, I'm like, for why?
That's suspicious.
Okay, we are starting off with a bang. We got Throne of Glass. I'm gonna put it in I think that the first couple of books were like okay, and then the more that I read them, the more that I wasn't about it anymore. I had no strong feelings about it. I think I just read them because I had FOMO. So yeah. The ACOTAR series on the other hand. Okay. The first book I'm gonna put in Blast from the Past because I read it a long time ago, so I don't really remember. The sequel, I'm gonna put in The reason that I continued the series is because I heard that the sequel was so much better than the first one, which I agree, it definitely was better, but it was still And then the third one I'm gonna put in That's Suspicious. Needless to say, I did not finish this third one. That's all I'll say about that. On a lighter note, we got The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I'm going to put in... People are gonna yell at me. I'm gonna put this in... I'm so sorry. I'm gonna put this in Low-Key Le Trash but good. I'm not calling this book trash. I'm literally so scared because people love this book so much. I think that for a lot of people, this was such a good book. For me, it was just okay. Can I be honest? I wasn't that attached to the characters, which I think is the main reason why. It was a beautiful story and it was written beautifully, but I wasn't that attached to it. I didn't bawl my eyes out. I wish that I did. I literally was so ready and I tried. They both died at the end by Adam Silvera. I'm gonna put this in Low-Key Le Trash but good. I think that a lot of people would like it. I just wasn't one of those people, but I would still recommend it, you know? I like think about it from like time to time. I'm saying trash in the most respectful way, by the way, like affectionate. Okay, The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Palm Sweaty Mom Spaghetti I Love. This is my deepest, darkest secret, solely because of the plot twist of the fact that I actually enjoyed it. But do you know that in psychology, we learned that if things have a bad first impression and then you grow to like it, in the end, you actually like it more than things that you liked from the beginning. I promise that it's true. I learned it in psychology, Psych 1 XO3. And I think that I fell victim to it in The Cruel Prince. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart is immediately going in That's Suspicious. This is a book that I read solely because of TikTok, and I would not have had any interest in reading it otherwise. And I read it and I was like, what? Why? And I read that everyone is so emotionally destroyed by the end of this. So I was like, that sounds like a good time. And I honestly was like, but for what? Every single character in this book was mean, rude, and entitled. I don't know. I think that it bit too much that it couldn't swallow. Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I really liked it. Palm Sweaty Mom Spaghetti. It's very different from all the other books that John Green has published. If you watch him talk about it, you can tell the fact that he put a lot of different kind of work into this. It was a very personal book for him, and I think that the mental health representation in this was really good. Oh, there's this one quote about this book that I like still think about and I think is so beautiful. I'm not gonna say it, otherwise I'm gonna get all in my feels, but I'll put it here. The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Why was this on the... I did not know that this was like a hyped book. Anyway, I'm gonna put it in I. This was mandatory reading for me in grade 10 English class. I think that the writing was kind of bland. All the characters were also rich. I don't relate to you. Even like the second tier rich people, like the nouveau riche, you know, were seen as like the scum of the earth. And I was sitting there as like a plebeian. There's no room for me in this egg. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Immediately to superior. Y'all know this was coming. Anyway, I made 4 videos about it. Maybe 5 videos, maybe 6 videos about this book series. Someone needs to put a stop to this. One of my favorite books of all time, and that's it. That's the tweet. And then we got Renegades by Marissa Meyer. Renegade. This is a book that I read recently, actually, and I actually really liked it. I'm gonna put it in Pump Sweaty Mom Spaghetti I love. I liked it because it gave me X-Men vibes. I am so trash for X-Men, and you know that I love young James McAvoy as Dr. Charles Xavier, and the vibes are just so immaculate. I had such a good time reading this book. Then we got The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. I'm gonna put this in low-key trash, but good. It had a lot of like those like trashy tropes. I'm gonna repeat this. I say trashy with all the love and affection in the world. You guys know what I mean, right? When I say trashy, like solely there for a fun time. That's like a great thing. Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe. This one is definitely a blast from the past. I read this book on recommendation by like my grade 6 librarian. Shout out to Miss Grant. I remember really enjoying it. I don't know objectively how it holds up, but isn't Ari as a nickname for Aristotle the cutest thing you've ever heard in your entire life? Okay, next we got Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This one I'm putting in Palm Sweaty Mom Spaghetti I love. This is a good book. Dystopian books are I honestly probably like it more than I like fantasy. There's not a lot of YA dystopian book series coming out now, which I think is such a shame because it's honestly like my favorite genre. All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I'm putting this in Palm Sweaty Mom Spaghetti I love. This is a good book, like really beautiful. It's dense though. She is heavy. It's a really beautiful book and it made me cry at the end. All of the hype around this book and how people love it so much is true. It's a good book. Okay, now we have It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I'm putting this in Palm Sweaty Mom Spaghetti I love. It was such a plot twist. This was my first Colleen Hoover book, and all the buzz I heard about Colleen Hoover, I was a little bit nervy, but I actually really liked this book. I really liked it. I still think about it to this day. It was so captivating. It lives in my mind rent-free. Book talk may have hit with this one, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, now we have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This is honestly going in superior. I love this book. This is probably one of my favorite books that I've read since starting booktube. It was so good. Has someone optioned this for a movie yet? Superior. These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I'm putting this in Palm Sweaty Mom Spaghetti I love. Wow, I did not know that I have so many books in this tier. It's hard for me to separate the emotional connection I have for this book with like objectively how I felt reading it. I credit this book with the start of my booktube channel. So hard for me to differentiate. It'll always have a special place in my heart. I just remember it. I feel like a baby. I feel precious every time that I see it. Okay, next we have A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I'll say low-key trash, but good. The representation that it had in here was something that I had never seen in other fantasy books. I like that she was like a girl from our real world going into a separate fantasy world, and the representation. Harper has cerebral palsy, but everything else about this story was honestly very lukewarm to me. You guys know how I feel about a boring prince character. A boring prince character with morals. You can miss me with that. People We Meet on Vacation, immediately superior. I do not know what Emily Henry put in this book. People We Meet on Vacation is a drug. Normal People by Sally Rooney. I'm gonna put her in. I'm gonna make people mad. Okay, I'm gonna put it in low-key trash, but good. I honestly could put it in I, but I'm really in love with the actor who plays Connell in the Hulu TV series adaptation. The actor who plays Connell? I didn't get that attached to the story, but I think that it was written really rawly. Also Connell, Legend by Marie Lu. I'm so sorry. Have to put in superior. I have to put in superior. You know what? I could put it in Blast from the Past, but I have since reread it maybe 6 or 7 times, like an annual reread. I will grab on to like any remnants of like that dystopia period because I loved it so much and I still do, and I think that we should bring it back. Okay, speaking of The Maze Runner by James Dashner, this one is definitely Blast from the Past. I have not read this book since like grade 6 or grade 7, so I literally don't remember how it holds up. I have though rewatched this franchise a million times. This is like my comfort franchise. Like I was watching the Scorch Trials on my phone waiting in the hallway for my chemistry exam last year. The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. I'm gonna put this in low-key like trash but good. I liked it. It wasn't amazing amazing, and some of the stuff that the characters said were like kind of cringe. Like, also the movie, why are we casting a half Asian actor for a full Asian character? I've had quite enough. No hate or shade to the actors. I just think like as a whole, like on a systemic level, something has to be done about this. Next we got City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, Blast from the Past. I have reread it recently, and enough to tell you that it doesn't hold up. It's hard to be impartial about this book when so many people have read it and be like such a nostalgic blast from the past, and I think that I'm one of those people. This Savage song, I don't know if it's because I have a book hangover from this right now. Okay, I'm gonna put it in Palm Sweaty Mom Spaghetti for now. I love this book. It's like such a new obsession. I like this book. This was a good book, and I have been sleeping on it. I had been sleeping on it this entire time, and not a one of you told me. Not a one of you told me. The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. It's either Blast from the Past or That's Suspicious. Okay, I'm gonna put Blast from the Past. No, I'm gonna put it in That's Suspicious because it's a blast from the past. Yes, I read it a long time ago, but I, to this day, have not forgotten how much I dislike this book. Oh, it was so boring. Do you know what this was? This kind of gave me like Walmart Shadow and Bone vibes. I'm so sorry. This book was so old, and it didn't do well when it first got released, I don't think. People thought it was gonna be the next thing, but it wasn't. It kind of flopped. Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. I think I put it in I, but with trash in parentheses. Good trash, I'll say that. This is like a one shot of like every single book talk trope you ever want. Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. I'm putting it in low-key trash but good. This was honestly a good book. I really liked the male lead love interest. I'm so partial to a male character who's like the head of a gang, like a street lord. Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I'm gonna put it in I. Honestly, I'm more erring on the side of not liking this book, but I understand why other people like it, which is why it's not going in That Suspicious. I thought it was a normal like YA fantasy, but I think it actually airs more on the side of like YA fantasy slash paranormal romance, and I'm not the biggest fan of paranormal romance, so I think that that's why it didn't hit for me. I will say that this was like a mukbang inside of a book. I literally loved the vibes of being in like Sicily and like the family owns a restaurant. Like, I love the vibe. So that's why she's going in I. Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I'm putting it in I too. This was I read it for Jessie May Lee. I read it for the TV show. Yeah, Shadow and Bone, there you go. The companion series to Six of Crows. The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. A blast from the past. For most people, it will probably go in superior. Everybody loves this book. I read it in like grade 9 maybe. I read it in grade 9 for school. I literally read it for class. Even still, I don't read a lot of World War II historical fiction. Back then, I didn't read it even more. I think objectively, this is an amazing book. I know that, but I remember when I read it, I didn't enjoy it that much. Maybe that's because I was reading it for school too. The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I'm gonna put it in low-key trash but good. This book had a lot of tropes that I think are really fun, and the mystery of it was honestly really good. I'm not gonna lie. Like, okay, next we have Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I am also gonna put this in low-key trash but good. I enjoyed the vibes of it. I thought that the vibes of it was so immaculate. Like, it was giving me like Alice in Wonderland meets Willy Wonka. It was just a time, but I wasn't really attached to any of the characters. I don't think I'm gonna continue the series, but I would recommend it. I think that it was a fun read. And lastly, we have The Selection. Definitely such a blast from the past. Oh my gosh. Right when The Selection came out and it was really, really hyped. This was when I was like probably in grade 6 or something. I was there. I was a selection girl. I was like Prince Max. I was there. And I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. Yo, if you look at my blast from the past, I feel like that gives so much context about who I am as a reader. I really liked books like this, like The Selection. I remember I tried reading Matched, the most boring book on the planet. I was all about that. All of these books have my respect, honestly. Okay, I'm gonna move things around within the tiers. Okay, honestly, I don't know. I think it's so hard within the tiers. I'm just gonna leave it at this. I'm gonna try to end the video as fast as possible so that people can't get a good look and attack me or something. This is not definitive, okay? But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna end the video. Definitely a non-exhaustive list. Comment down below your thoughts. Yeah, we're gonna leave it at that. Let me know what other TikTok books that you don't see on here that I should read, because that means that I haven't read them. You can start a fight with me on Instagram DM, okay? Anyway, that's all for me. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified every single time that I upload. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!
You're so